Hello everyone and welcome back to Epic 40, the pinnacle of UK esports, presented to you by Intel and of course the wonderful duo here in front of the camera, Con and Tom. So how are we today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you today, Con?
Very, very nice. I mean, in terms of today's match, we've already gotten through 2 games so far. We're really up progressed with the bracket quite nicely, and we're just starting to get a real feel for the day and see which teams are really thriving on playoff day. Yesterday was round robins with lots of upsets, lots of drama, but sort of similar, you know, correlations to who we thought would go through and do well today. But the first match on the table for you, from us two, is going to be SKELP versus MCRP. We saw them yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, we saw some performance from MCRP yesterday. I didn't catch much of the SKELP. Did you see how they sort of performed yesterday?
SKELP were pretty good. They looked dominant. They finished as expected in round robin. But SKELP against MCRP should, on paper, be a closely contested contest.
Yeah.
Just due to the fact of their abilities, their experience, very similarly matched in that regard.
Brilliant. And the first map we should be seeing today is, I believe, going to be Haven.
It will be Haven. Of course, the bands of picks now are coming for you on the screen, but we have got an absolute triple threat here in terms of the dual SKELP. I've gone for Haven, starting on the attacking side, and we do, in fact, also have the majority as well of Lotus being the decider and Split being MCRP's pick as well, also starting on the attacking side. Yeah,
so if we're just taking a look at these picks here, SKELP, I think we saw a performance of them on Haven actually, and they did perform quite well. So for them to choose that as their pick, quite an obvious decision from them. Yeah, and Lotus is a deciding map. I don't believe Lotus has been seen on stream this event yet. So if we manage to get to the deciding map, that'll be quite interesting.
Yeah, Lotus was picked in the last series, Tom, as well. It was from the last series, but we haven't had the chance yet properly to watch the gameplay unfold on the map that has been, you know, so up and down, so controversial throughout the entirety of Valorant since its injection. But nonetheless, it will be one of them ones that ultimately this series will be fast-paced, will be exhilarating, and it will present these two teams in both positive and negative light because the mistakes on all 3 of these maps can be extremely punishable. I think they know too well.
Yeah, especially as we saw yesterday on Split, like the dominance that we saw in that game last night. If MCRP can try and turn that around in their favor this time, they're very confident. It's not what we saw yesterday from them on Split, but if they've picked it, hopefully we can see sort of a different approach to the map. And
I think as well with the majority of these maps as well, the compositions are actually more standard than others. There isn't really much development in terms of these 3 and what you can and can't run, with the exception of maybe Lotus, where, you know, there's a lot of options across all 3 sorts of general Valorant groupings from your controllers, your duelists and your initiators, which sort of formations you want to run and how fast you want to be. But I think Haven to open is a bit of a bold statement thus far. And I think SKELP are just picking this, like you said, out of performance. The other 2 picks, though, are just out of practice, I believe. So they're really going to come to a good sort of level-headed understanding of how to approach the entirety of this series.
Yeah, and I think sort of the agents that we might be, we should be heading into the match shortly as we would see the agent selects. But I think for Haven, again, we might see like a more traditional mirror with the Killjoy, Omen, Breach, Jet, Sova, maybe a Sky instead of a Sova. That would be my guess of both of these teams today.
That'll be a fair switch, a good substitute.
Yeah, that will be my main guess. We'll have to just see as we're heading into the agent select now.
Yeah, so in terms of looking out for these 2 teams right here, SKELP, of course, are starting on the defensive side. And we have a large portion right now for MCRP to really get through on the attack. And these agents thus far, again, some composition, some are definitely unorthodox.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting to see if SKELP do actually opt for the double wall strategy using the Viper and the Harbour together. They haven't quite locked in the Harbour, so maybe they're unsure if they want to run it. But it's looking like that is going to be the strategy for SKELP. As they do lock in the Harbour, they've gone for the double wall. MCRP have opted, however, for a Cypher instead of a Killjoy, which is more traditional pick for the map. So we'll have to see how that plays out. They do have the Breach and the Sova, using the combination of Breach and Jet for a really fast entry with the dash and the flash there. SKELP, I'm going to see probably a bit more close quarters gameplay, just controlling the site by splitting it off into segments using both of those walls.
Yeah, and that definitely will be a theme throughout the majority of this series. I think when it comes to these 2 styles, matchup-wise, polar opposites on the spectrum of Valorant composition. You have one team that loves to be a bit passive, but at the same time very precise, loves to play long-range gunfights, the wall-to-walls as well, rewards them based on the age compositions of the picks. MCRP, however, love head-to-heads. They love fights, they love being quick, they love catching off guard, and maybe even as well the island players too on this team can provide plenty of information and execution.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like we've just finished up the Asian Select and should be heading into the first match shortly. So, yeah, the way these different teams, these different compositions are actually going to approach the map is going to be quite different. I think we could see probably a little bit of defense bias from SKELP here, so maybe looking for them to get probably a few more rounds on this first half of the map.
Yeah, no, and that will definitely happen to the extent. I think the first 3 rounds ultimately do decide the flow and diction of the game. Yeah. And that bonus round will be crucial for both of these teams, essentially on how they want to manage their ultimate economy, how much weaponry they can carry on for how many rounds. Ultimately, I think both teams here will be looking to try and at least get many opposition force buys out the way and just punish and pummel on this map because of how spread out it is, the structure of it, and the general consensus having the 3 sites does make it really hard to lock down collectively as a team any one given area at a time.
Yeah, and it looks like at the start of this match, Sweeney has decided to put their Viper Toxic screen up across C, covering the site as well as the entrance to Garage, with Mighty Joe's Killjoy just putting the turret in Garage just to make sure they've locked down that C site area. The GOG's providing backup on B with the alarm bot, just to let them know if there's anyone entering from B, potentially flanking if they're going for an A or C push. Yeah, the rest of the MCRP though, they are actually currently just sat outside A main, maybe potentially looking for an A hit this round, but 2 players from SKELP are in sewer, looking like they might push up as soon as this round begins. It
will definitely be a case of shuffle walking and playing a wall-to-wall. They want to at least listen to audio cues. Remember, like yesterday, it was very common in Haven for a lot of the players on MCRP to essentially play close to the walls and not move for 30, 40 seconds. They're just playing for audio cues and hearing the footsteps because they love to bait the rush. Yep. And counter it with speed of their own. I said, well, indefinitely creating awkward timings that the opposition can't deal with. MCRP, again, though, the SKELP play head. Well, at this point now, with their setup again, play at least to bait large clusters of players into open lanes and then just play peaks perfectly.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a couple players that have actually opted for light armor instead of the Ghost for the first round buy. This is probably just so they can afford a little bit of util that will help them get onto the site in the hands of Reptile. With the Omen there, he's probably opted for a Paranoia, which is extremely useful on any round really, but especially on a pistol round, really crucial. And we're probably seeing with the Sky has maybe bought themselves a second flash and maybe a heal as well. Just so they can afford to heal up the team, which can be really, really impactful on a pistol round.
I think the impact as well could be limited to how well they would like to progress forward. I mean, we've seen a different level of every single team here really in their approaches to rushing. Defense is the crucial sort of talking point that I want to really delve into, and that essentially is when we saw Hello Kittens yesterday and how much they'd love to get through mid and just aggress from the center of B all the way through into spawn on the opposing side and then try and flank through A or C. Again, though, with the competition here, the Cypher will be a main player to catch lurkers and island players, which SKELP will try and at least initialize, but it will be a case of how well can they overload both sides of the map, and when they're rotating players around from C to A, it will be a case of getting the perfect timing and understanding all the call-outs, all the knowledge at present.
Yeah, definitely. And I think another thing to point out would be MCRP have actually had a little bit of a role shake-up here. Yesterday we were seeing Jamie on the initiator role, and Mercedes was actually on the controller role. They were playing the Viper on split yesterday.
That's a good spot.
So having a little bit of a role shake-up means that they're probably a bit more flexible, a bit more diverse in their roles. So we're going to have to see how they approach this role, considering maybe the last match didn't quite go in their favor, so maybe these are the roles they're more comfortable in, and we might see a bit of a different performance from MCRP today.
It will be a case now, MCRP heading straight into a match against SKELP Esports. First day of playoffs. It's going to be a different sort of atmosphere today as well, because you are sensing how much all the players here in this server are looking to continue throughout the bracket, avoid losers at all costs.
Yep.
But albeit it will be a case of how well they can contest. And as far in Haven, just killing time, talking about strategies, and seeing how we're going to really aggress through as game plan unfolds.
I think there might have been a little bit of a server issue or ping issue that we're just happening right now. So hopefully shouldn't be too long before we can get straight into the game. But we didn't want to start, you know, if it's going to be unoptimal for the players. But yeah, just taking a look at the rest of the teams in the competition. What are your thoughts so far? Like, what other teams do you think have stood out to you this competition so far?
We're getting Eastern Lobby here, you know, SKELP and MCRP are very strong. Star likely has upset quite a lot of people's softbox, of course, with the experience too. And you can even look towards K10 and even look towards Vex, because those 6 teams have got any sort of ability to go all the way. So there really is quite a massive oligopoly with those six teams heading into at least the latter portion of tonight.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That does sound right. Yeah. So,
albeit now, if it wasn't for the servers and network, you know, it would be the case. But I mean, again, right now, it's one of them ones where we're just essentially just killing time, enjoying it. And then once the LAN server is up and running, we can get going.
Yeah, we're just waiting, buying time just for the game to begin. Just wondering how they've set this up. It looks like Jamie's actually placed a tripwire on C, so they're probably not actually going to approach that site, and they're just going to leave that as, you know, intel for a flank.
And in the hopes that when the flank does come through and they're already fairly aggressive on either or site, they can just have that present mind knowing that they can overload.
Yep. No, there's one on along the flank. And other than that, it's kind of difficult to maybe understand what the team is going to do. We're just going to have to wait and find out. Potential presence in mid. It looks like they might be setting themselves up for a smoke. Reptile looks like he's got his dark cover ready to pop down as soon as the match begins.
Most definitely.
Looks like we'll only be in this technical pause for another minute or so. So it shouldn't be too long before we can get straight back into this game.
But still, again, though, when it comes to yesterday in comparison to this morning, I think that, you know, lots of the teams now have sort of refreshed and revitalized themselves coming into it. Ultimately, yesterday was round robin. There was so much carnage happening in terms of the games and the expectations and predicted winners, whereas today now it's more, at least mellowed out. A lot of time now has been revised in the LAN, and at least from the day beforehand, where the players can just look comfortably and say, yes, that was yesterday, we've got vibe for today, we've got this bracket coming up, let's just focus on that fully.
Yeah, now especially with today, we're on the double elimination brackets, so players will be performing maybe to their most of their abilities. They're really wanting to win as much as possible. Don't want to go down to that losers bracket and get knocked out of the competition. So
I know, and that's always the never looming threat. It's one that will just at least continuously drain the mindsets. It can be quite daunting as well, because we talk about burnout quite frequently in terms of all esports. But when you are essentially having one of the biggest games today against one of the biggest teams, you know, getting out of your way and winning that could ultimately carry you further. And that right there is just the ultimate end goal to go on and win this tournament.
Most certainly. As you can see, the players are just having a nice bit of downtime during the game. Just be hopping around, waiting for the round to start. Looks like they are calling for a ready vote, and it looks like this round might actually be starting imminently, as both teams seem to be ready, and the match pause timer has just been turned off. We're ready to get into that first round.
Oh, absolutely. But definitely, again, Mercedes and the entirety of MCRP against SKELP and Mighty Joe.
That's weird. Just looking forward. They're just playing nice and slow, but the match timer has been paused again. As we will be waiting probably another minute. It shouldn't be too long. Yeah, but it does look like we can actually see that some of the players have actually switched up their loadouts during this time, so maybe they've had a little bit more time to think about what they're doing. It looks like the Sova Summoner has actually switched to a Frenzy, opting for a different loadout. Maybe he just decided to have a little bit of change of heart during this buy phase, thinking about maybe something different that he wants to do, different approach. Could be looking maybe for a little bit of a faster burst on the side if they're taking a Frenzy, as they're going to be wanting to take those quick, close quarters engagements. Especially looks like that when we've got a Flashpoint primed and ready from Mercedes. Looking like Leah is going to just probably dash out straight into mid using that Flashpoint to be able to engage with the enemies really, really fast as well. Probably a recon maybe from Samo just to prevent the enemies from peeking any further. And got that frenzy in hand just to let me just see if we can take any close quarters engagements. JB again got that tripwire on C, probably not going to be watching it too much as they know they've got that ankle covered. But yeah, it really does look like now they are going to be aiming for a B hit, which they're going to have to be sure that they don't falter at the Killjoy's alarm bot, which is going to be sat onto the entrance of B's site. Could be detrimental if they do get hit by that. They'll be applied vulnerable, which means they'll take a lot more damage and they'll go down faster. And vulnerable in pistol round is quite worrying because, as you can see, 4 players of the team don't actually have any armor on them. So they'll be taking damage, they'll be dropping like flies if they do get that vulnerable applied to them, especially with the combination of a swarm grenade. It doesn't look like Killjoy has any of those planted down, as they have opted for a ghost buy, so they've only been able to afford an alarm bot for this round. The Harbor Gogs is sat on B as well, so that's something they're going to have to pay attention to. They're going to have most likely, just looking at their economy, they've bought themselves a Ghost, which means they probably have 2 Cascades as well, would be my guess, is what they'll be able to afford, just to prevent any sort of force, or use those for a retake. Yeah, it does look like he's going to instantly use that Cascade to prevent a mid-push, as the rest of the team, MCRP, are now approaching the B site.
First entry comes in straight away, Savino finds a kill. And again, we're just seeing a majority here of SKELP collect good kills on the flank, but still side control's in their way. And even if the wonderful collapse they managed to reclaim, the trades even out. 4v1 straight away. MCRP on the back foot again. A similar story yesterday, but then again, the first round of the books, SKELP get it done.
Yeah, I do think I think that is what they were going for with the MCRP, looking to use that flashpoint and the jet dash to instantly take B and get onto the site as fast as possible, get that plant down. But Gogs' Cascade actually did sort of prevent them. It made them hesitate, not wanting to jump out of that window, potentially scared of what might be there, not unsure if there are multiple players with guns aiming their way. And yeah, it looks like now we've got one on the board for SKELP.
And it's a good round as well. We're now looking towards the eco. What really key points to be out, Tom, and just sort of how the rounds are going to progress now after the initial first one.
Yeah, so it looks like SKELP have a good buy in their hands. They've got a couple Bulldogs at their disposal. But we are looking like MCRP are actually going to be heading into main, and Sharpie finds the first pick.
Still though, trade comes through, but Mercedes manages to clean up nicely. Now in a 4v3, MCRP are looking to at least use numbers here, overwhelm the site, create a good offset timing where players can collapse on through, and it rewards. Because right now, we are witnessing the likes of SKELP here, not having enough time to rotate, and not enough time as well just to even aggress through the lanes, constantly checking corners, and making sure they can find at least some reward. The buy hasn't favoured, it's 1-1, and there we have it. A good response thus far coming in from MCRP.
Yeah, really, really good response there from MCRP. Utilising those flashes from Mercedes really well, just to push off the players. Even if it didn't result in immediate kills, it resulted in them not being able to find, or the SKELP players not being able to find their kills. As they're blind, they're going to have to back off, and it just allowed them to take that site and close in on the players.
Still though, heading to the bonus round now is the big one. And ultimately, again, it's in a spot now where SKELP do not have much economy running into this one. And we are seeing pretty much quite a hefty buy. Looking to reward the likes of MCRP. And again, just getting a push from the last round here. Collateral towards A. Reptile there finds the first blood, and good. Back of this now, aggressing forward. They're looking to try and reclaim, but this time, good from the SKELP. The pacing on the rotation has been improved. Gogs with the first point of contact and the entry. As now we are looking for at least a good idea. Audio cue for the spike has been made aware to the remaining players.
Found my wire.
And Jamie has got a good position on the flank, but Joe overwhelms Sharpie. Leading towards the site now, they're throwing smokes on top heaven. Looking to at least gauge the players here, but the wall-to-walls are really, really good from MCRP. Cascade comes in, and so does the recon bolt. Straight away, Reptile now has to fight down bottom. Sands gets 2 to make us further the round, but Gogs returning fire. A wonderful spray down for Samo, and the bonus is converted. 2-1 thus far on the Haven, and a very nice morning thus far for MCRP.
Yeah, brilliantly well played there for MCRP. Just unfortunate start for SKELP. Zella was the only one on A. Actually just pushed forward into sewer, see if they could find maybe one lurking at A. Did actually stumble into the entire team. And I think that gave them, as soon as the Harbour High Tide came up across the site, I think they were aware that no one else was there maybe. And they just decided to take that A that was left abandoned, just as Zella was holding it alone, as the rest of the team on that eco buy, maybe pushing together down towards mid and garage to see if they can find anyone, but they just didn't find anything.
Brand new round, brand new bake-off here for MCRP, this time on C, but Lear playing around the poison wall does spot plenty of information. The Flash 2 doesn't reward Sweeney as he drops, and the rest of the players now from MCRP are just looking to reward themselves. Full site control, and only 2 players left to deal with from the likes of SKELP.
As we're heading into this, Sharpie is going to maybe get spotted by the recon, and Zella is in a fight with Jamie, but Jamie does actually find the kill on them. Sharpie has been revealed, but Samo takes them down to secure another round for MCRP. 3-1 on the board now.
Yeah, and indefinitely as well. The economy is looking good for both sides, but one team definitely favouring the other.
Yeah, and it looks like MCRP are definitely in the strongest position. They've got much more of economy, full bought vandals, and we're looking at like even the cash, 5,000 between each player. However, in the hands of SKELP, they do look like they're about to get some ultimates online. We could be seeing a reckoning from Harbour in the hands of Gogs to maybe prevent a plant and maybe turn the tide in their favour, as you could say. Now we're heading into this round.
So though, just early doors coming in for MCRP, looking to get stuns across, try and entry fast. They mentioned in the pre-game show as well that they love to play aggressive here, tend to fights head on. But Gogs has got good positioning here, but Lear just a bit too quick, finds the high ground. Now we're just sort of going to come back into the picture here at a 3v4. SKELP again, last 3 rounds can't find man advantage, and still it's a very common theme as far in the early rounds. Samo is definitely finding good form with 3 that round. And Lear cleaning up in the end to make it another extension, another round to the board. 4-1, the attackers are thriving. MCRP looking much better than yesterday's performance.
That felt like a really, really fast round there, and just the explosive burst onto the site with the jet dash up onto the top of B site. It's just an explosive play that allows, with the players just all collapsing at once, take on the site. It's really hard to respond, and I think SKELP need to play around that now. If they know that MCRP are going to be going for these explosive bursts, maybe just sort of stacking players or playing offside maybe so they're not losing players as fast.
Oh, very unique play here as well. Recon drone tag Sharpie, but with the up out as well, it's quite easy now to completely eliminate all sorts of possible threats of a long range up fight. But now Lear again pulling out the knives. This is going to be an interesting play. Instantly off the back of 2 simple ultimates, it looked like site was taken. Although MCRP have aggressed forward, they still have a little bit of control. They've eliminated 1 player that can offset the timing. And look in mid as well. Despite all the fights, 2 lurkers going through the backside of spawn. Sharpie still fighting strong. Spike is planted, 4v3. And only now will you start to see the rest and the power of MCRP.
Yeah, and as the Harbour's Reckoning is coming in, and it looks like they've maybe cleared out the site, but Reptile is coming in for another kill on Gogs. Does get dropped, and Sweeney is left in a 1v2. Not a lot of time left or chance when he gets stunned. And that is another round on the board for MCRP.
Yeah, I definitely sense as well a bit of tension from the SKELP boys. I think when it came to holding down A, they had full control. The real offset of their play really came down to, again, get the initial recon tag straight away onto the jet. I mean, up out as well. They knew either way 1 or 2 things would happen. Jet would have to force the fights early on and hopefully get a trade but give up the op, or retreat back and try and recuperate the team to actually have a full-on fair fight 3v3 in that situation. But it simply was just an offset timing and a bit of an undisciplined play. That hasn't really resulted well. We do look towards the next round. We're looking towards a very impressive looking MCRP roster spawning 5-1, giving us off here in the beginning stages of the Haven.
Yeah, and it is worth mentioning that this was SKELP's pick, was it not?
It was SKELP's pick.
Exactly, and MCP are performing extremely well. And I think this round, SKELP might just be taking another back foot. They're on an eco buy, and they're really close to ults. They're three players are only 1 ultimate point away, and they are some very impactful ults as well. That lockdown and the Viper's Pit especially, those are ultimates that can turn the tide in their favour.
Sweden now just playing around C carefully. Already has 2 players in the crosshair. Can't do too much, but that right there is not what you want to happen. Straight in the line of the Catalyst and Rolling Thunder 2. MCRP now again aggressing early onto site. No shots land for Sweeney, and automatically the entirety of MCRP wipe the scoreboard clean. Only 2 left to survive now, with a full retake ahead of them. Jamie spots another in Zella, but now Sharpie, left all alone in mid, gets cleaned up through garage doors. The smallest pixel peak does the job. A flawless round in the end for MCRP, and 6-1.
It's not looking optimal for SKELP here. That's not exactly what they're looking for. Flawless against them. However, we have entered a timeout, and I think that's because they did just get flawless. SKELP are going to have to try and maybe think up some strategies in this time. They know they've got 3 ultimates at their disposal now, 3 very strong ultimates as well. That they're going to have to probably think of a plan, think of some sort of strategy that they can utilize those to the best of their abilities to start putting some rounds back on the board and try and make this maybe a 6-6 would be the best outcome for them now.
Yeah, and it's definitely not out of the realm of reach and possibility. I would have to say, though, in terms of the overall economy control and weaponry advantage, it does favour MCRP.
Definitely.
SKELP got mountain to climb here, so we might have to look at some guerrilla warfare tactics coming out of them, maybe even committing towards the team pushes a little bit more, because at this point now, 7 rounds in, they're fully aware of the aggression that MCRP have and like to showcase. The only real offset to that, and the only real counter towards that, would be knowing the timings and knowing essentially where to coordinate their attacks. And that's going to be hard as well, albeit given their limited weaponry.
Yep, and it looks like actually SKELP are going to maybe stack onto the A site here. It looks like we might have 3 players stacking A. Maybe a good read here, as it does look like MCRP might be pushing up. They have set up a tripwire outside of A main, this is potentially for anyone flanking towards them. So maybe we could be seeing a little bit of intel gathering around B and garage, and then they might be actually rotating back towards A with Sova and the Omen positioned outside. To have SKELP backing off now, just back onto the A site.
Straight away, swings through, shots go down up and lands. Cajun responds to back away, and it's a wise move thus far. Even so, A is the real target for MCRP. The Aldrin going down to Sands, not finding anyone. Sharpie now just hearing the audio cues, playing it passive. Albeit now, though, folks have got plenty of footing on the map so far. Loads of utility dotted around the map to be in. Although the east side will be the main focus point here. A stun will come in and eject that's 2 to boot. Lear finds the first. A simple trade coming out in hand, but the paranoia capitalizes so well. Mercedes reaps its rewards, finds 2 that round with full side control on A. Smokes to boot on the return. 4v2 heading in now on the lights here. The latter portion, Jamie though can just clean up mid, catch the lurkers.
Really well played from Jamie there, just lurking around. Here's that audio cue of the last 2 players running through mid and manages to get the swing on them. Just really well timed, knowing that both of those players are heading towards A link potentially for a retake of their ultimates. Completely shutting that down before there's even a chance for it to begin.
Yeah, and that's just one of the few rewards that we will see reaped here. They are sowing themselves into the history of Epic 40, and SKELP in itself are really struggling thus far. 1-7 on defensive side. We do like to highlight though and give the caveat where it is due. Attacking is favoured.
Attacking is favoured on Haven, yeah, and MCRP are looking brutally strong right now.
Mighty J though, shots going down straight away, but look at C right now again. A brand new invitation for MCRP to run through Catalyst to boot, and even so the Harbor utility can't do anything. Mercedes finds the first. Simple trades and one angle is all you need. A choke point that has been exaggerated, that has been abused. MCRP have sprinted through onto C, and now have only one unorthodox strategy to hold this. Players committing through long to watch the pinch, and even so, they have to make sure that spawn lane is controlled and garage is controlled. That's the only way that SKELP can get through, can absolutely manage their utility, manage their pressure. Lear can't get the shot through onto Sharpie, and now in a 3v2, has got to try and defuse in one of the most egregious holds of all time. All the way through long, Sharpie gets the smoke off. Samo as well has a recon bolt to boot, but looking at the trades, it's only 2-1, but it's just enough as now we are seeing MCRP make it 8-1 and nearing the end of the half.
Yeah, and it's almost like there's a bit of a feeling of helplessness from SKELP there. They really tried their best, using as much Harbor utility as they can to block off an entry to site, even using snake bites, but it just doesn't matter. Reptiles teleport straight onto the site, allowed for Lear to get in and kill the 2 players that were focused on the Omen. Just, yeah, really good use of. They're just combining their abilities so well, allowing for these really aggressive pushes, even when the utility is stacked against them.
slow push through mid there for both teams. Cascade as well just to boot on A, but looking at the good shots already, it's a nice subtle push coming in here for MCRP. Although turrets being triggered, they're starting to get pressure in Garage that we like for SKELP, and despite all the pushes through Garage, they only managed to give up Spike for a second, but now pulling in the lockdown to try and capitalize a retake here. And again, a wise maneuver, a good option to have as well if you want to get back into this game and fully utilize. But anyone player defusing, and the remaining two players here is Samo already getting through. Oh, that's a wonderful cove. It's a good piece of kit. Now in a 1v2, Lear has to find one, but will he get two? Mighty Joe swings and finds the kill to cancel out the round. Plenty of time on the board, a defuse through, and SKELP now are smiling just a little bit further.
I think that might be the win that they need just to get themselves a little bit more morale and back into this match. Especially if we're looking at the economy, they're going to be able to afford a bye for this round. They're going into the final round of the half. Might not be too great if they lose this, but they are able to afford this, and if they win, they'll be able to afford next as well. And especially with their ultimates online, I think we could be looking at a SKELP getting another, like, at least 1 or 2 rounds on the board if they utilize these ults correctly.
Absolutely. And look at the shield buy as well in terms of it all. SKELP haven't got much to work with, and they've gone for a full force here.
Yeah.
But I think that right now, MCRP have got full control, and it's just showing. Look at what utility done on the map as well. Sharpie, get aggressive. Has a cascade just to cover one simple angle. But look at Samo, spotted already straight away. Samo now does find a kill eventually, and players support as well for wonderful crossfire. It's a 2-to-1 split. It's 80 seconds left on the clock. Spike, though, still floating around with the main core roster here. MCRP are bunched together in the back of Spawn, whereas SKELP now is starting to spread their lines a little bit, feel the pressure, get a good read for it as well, and a good spot there from the Killjoy to shoot down the camera from Cypher.
Yeah, now we're looking at, like, maybe Gogs is actually rotating. I think he does realize that they're not actually going for an A hit, and the rest of them using the neural theft there to just scan exactly where the players are. They know that B is currently open, and Sweeney does find the opening pick onto Reptile for this engagement.
Catalyst finds nothing. Sweeney as well just picks up another 3v2. Numbers winning away, and SKELP have finally found their footing in the last 2 rounds, and it's a really good adjustment. It's a wonderful play as well. It gives plenty of idea now. Really think they couldn't find anything in the first 7 rounds. And MCRP were just punishing with aggression.
30 seconds left.
But thus far, it really is a difficult one. Spike is down. Jamie's got at least a wall to climb here. A tri-peak of players. SKELP, mean business. The swing is there, but only one can be found. 3 in a round for Sweeney, and as defenders win, it's only 3-8.
It is. And
Last
it looks like the SKELP even have, again, just mentioning those ultimates, they're going to have potentially 4 of them at their disposal for this half. And very, really strong ones at that. Reckoning for a retake. Lightning's Pit, Vent, players even decided for. However, it is also worth mentioning that MCRP are 2 ult points away from 2 very powerful ultimates. They've got the Rolling Thunder for the breach, which should be able to allow them to take a site quite nicely, and Hunter's Fury to maybe play a post-plant situation for them to play off-site and play nice and safe.
Here.
Sharpie again, just playing the one spot with the art, but has to read the pressure straight away. Backs away instantly and can't connect as Jamie gets it. Paranoia 2, well executed. It really forces speed out of SKELP. That's trying to get through here. Reptile there, a wonderful crossfire just to set things off here. And the Rolling Thunder, Zella just about misses it. Now the speed really has to come in for MCRP. They teleport onto site. 4 players there on the screen, but only the trades can go one way, and it just about edges out. 3-9 as the half ends, and beautiful. MCRP, much better from yesterday's performance. They have adjusted, they have improvised, and just completely dominated SKELP there with that wonderful take.
Yeah, really, really good use of ultimates there as well from MCRP on that attacking half. Just the way they take sites is so aggressive, but they're also just sort of playing it safe a little bit. They're just scouting it out, making sure that they know that the site is safe to take, or that they have the util available to do so. And when they are, they're doing it really, really well. Just heading into this defensive half for MCRP though now, it's interesting to see that they've opted for 2 sheriffs. Samo and Leah have actually both taken a sheriff, so it looks like they might be taking an aggressive stance to this round, maybe.
Yeah, no, it's a wise decision as well. It's the correct move to make. You'd have to give a lot of caveats, though. The way that MCRP have played the attacking rounds, their defense formation looks very interesting. 1 Soul Lurker on A, Cypher set up, but 2 players just to cover and fire shots where need be. But no real access for a fast rotation, which is what could cost them this round. As the hard ball comes in as well, it's curved beautifully. All 3 exits are completely eliminated, but JB finds a kill onto Sharpie. Opens up the south lane of the map, where now he can aggress through for a repinch, but ultimately again, head-to-heads are just not enough. Still 1 player advantage heading in, and SKELP now looking extremely at wit's end here. 4 players alive in comparison to the 3 of MCRP. Still got the spike there to get down properly. 50 seconds left on the clock.
And looks like we do have a couple MCRP players just holding the site. They've got Heaven covered, and Samo does actually get dropped on the flank. Sweeney does find that pick, but Mercedes is looking for a swing. Doesn't quite finish off Gogs, as Gogs is still in it. Mighty Joe looking like they're going to push up Heaven and try and catch Reptile off guard. And they do find the kill. This could be huge, allowing for Gogs and Mighty Joe to be able to get this plant down. Leah in a dangerous situation, gets pushed by both at once, scoring SKELP the first round of the half.
It's impressive. It's a good round to have as well in the books, but as we see with these teams there, I think the mistake again was not executing the full value of their instant buy when they had it. Now you are seeing much greater weaponry go to their SKELP. They want to at least try and narrow the margin here, make it a 5-9. They're thinking ahead, they're definitely playing ahead for the later rounds because they are putting a lot of trust and banking on this one converting their way. And Focus now have just gone for a simple eco. And again, a simple eco is just latent terms to put it.
Yes, yeah, they're not forcing anything here. They've just gone for a couple sheriffs as well, which means they're probably going to be on a light armor buy this next round if they do actually end up winning. But it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle for them. Just going to use maybe the Trailblazer from SKELP to check into Garage. The High Tide does come up just to block off window, but it's not fully blocked off. And Leah does actually find the first pick onto Sharpie there, but Gogs gets the trade.
4v4. And plenty of aggression now. It looks to be, though, that the options are very wide open now for MCRP to try and defend this, but SKELP now just kind of getting a feel for it. Want another trade to go through, hence why you're seeing all the players force at least instant gunfights and looking just for catching players. They've got 55 seconds to do this, and that's plenty of time to adjust. The way that MCRP looks to understand the map and at least get a good read on SKELP is simply by just baiting out audio cues, and it's working so well. Rotation's really coming in for at least a full restructure on A, but still, the time is not there. They're just circling around the map.
Just taking the time, but now it looks like SKELP are actually going to push on to B and take the site, as it has been left alone by MCRP, who rotated over to that A side, believing that's where the bomb was going, but no. Now SKELP have the bomb down, and they are just repositioning themselves to make sure they've got every single angle covered here.
Mercedes just got no real good look in here, but Sweeney there finds a kill on Jamie. And as the trades come through, it's only still 1-man advantage here in the way of SKELP, and they are still building here, MCRP. How much time left though to actually get something done? Recon Bolt comes out, tags up 1, Gogs though again, just playing around, turret information 2. Mighty Joe there, taking care of Samo. 1v3, Mercedes can't find anything, and despite the hard ball coming in a little too late, not needed. The head-to-head was 1. And 5-9, they converted it now, and I've got plenty of prospects heading into that portion.
Yeah, especially looking at the eco here, SKELP have opted to, they've still got a few guns at their disposal, a few good rifles, a Vandal even in their possession. Guardian, always really good on Haven, especially if you're controlling that C-long. Looks like MCRP, yeah, they have opted for their full buy, which is, you know, something that they need to do in response. But they do have 3 light armors. They just haven't been able to afford that full armor buy because of how they responded in that second round.
There though, first blood drawn. And as well, Samo just collecting 2. They actually are starting to get a good read now to push here. They haven't read the pressure too well. They have understood, though, that 2 kills is better than 1. Despite the trade-off, it's just a good impact to have. The players are positioned now to rotate over towards A, and they've got plenty of firepower to boot. And even as the trades just continue to dwindle away, the entirety there that SKELP managed to get through has not resulted in the outcome they were looking for. They're a man down, and Bomb is nowhere near. Despite can't get anywhere near a site.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure from MCRP, and I think it was the right play as well, because they did manage to push them back, and like you said, the spike isn't actually anywhere near a site. Mighty Joe does find the pick, and looks like they might actually be able to get onto the C-bomb site. They are aware, though, with that guiding light, that there is one more player here. and they do know it's Reptile now. As he's paranoid to them, just prevent them from peeking. But Zella does get dropped by that peek. Mikey Joe taken out by Reptile. Another round on the board for MCRP, their first round of this half.
Clean and precise. Now we're into double digits. Now we're into a real shock factor for the likes of SKELP. I mean, every round now that MCRP get edges them closer and closer to the finish line. Although the 5-round deficit can be at least achievable, it's feasible to come back from. It's not a position that you want to be in. It just adds extra tension to the comms. It adds extra pressure, which you don't need, especially now because we are in this portion of the tournament playoffs just starting. It has to be accounted for. And unequivocally speaking, the likes of MCRP have played brilliant today. I emphasize it so much. A good improvement from yesterday's showing, and they are showing off against SKELP Esports here.
Really fantastic showing from MCRP. However, it is worth mentioning that SKELP have had some really good glimpses of greatness here. Leah does actually find the first blood of the round onto Sweeney. Still sat in window with his Guardian. Does look like he's going to get pushed maybe with a flashpoint. No, Sharpie does actually find a kill onto Leah. And another one. Finding 3 with the Sheriff, but Reptile does actually end his run. Zella unfortunately flashes themselves and Reptile finds the kill through the smoke. MCRP getting themselves another round, only 2 away from sealing the first map.
It's impressive. I mean, MCRP are really sort of thriving here in this particular mode and combination. Jamie too has just, at least composition pick wise, benefited with Cypher on Haven. Really has benefited MCRP and given a good sort of vantage view, given a real good insight as to how well they pace themselves across the map.
Yeah, and it's just looking at the way that they're placing their util, especially on attack. We can usually dictate where the pushes are going to go based on where those tripwires are placed, so they know what angles they're watching and which angles they're probably not going to approach. But anyway, heading into this round, Leah has found the first pick with his Bladestorm. Does get traded out by Sharpie, and it looks like the rest of SKELP are maybe looking for a C hit through Garage.
4v4, but no information gathered on the side of SKELP. They're just at least throwing out the right stuff. Harbor War and a dog just to really gain footing, and has found, thus far, an empty C site. The Spino is showing through pretty well. Sharpie knows that off the sound of what they're throwing, rotations can come in, and they can be crossfired. And still tagged up away. Sharpie just about exits of his life. Smoke those two to cover Garage, and his trades go down. Jamie finds 2 clean. Still though, no positional advantage gain. Zella holds on for a little. Still keeps the pressure applied, but Reptile ends it there. 3v1, Sharpie gets flashed, gets stunned, good crossfire, MCRP trademark. We're now entering 12-5. We're entering match point here, Tom.
Absolutely. There's so much pressure on SKELP now. It's just really unfortunate timings as well there. Just like, yeah, caught in those crossfires as well, like seeing Zella's flash into the smoke. Just as Reptile exits, that's just, it's just bad timing for them. Just some things might not have been going well in SKELP's favor this game. Yeah, they are still in it. They do have almost a full buy this round. Yeah, there's a couple light armors there, but they do have the weaponry needed. However, they are going to need to think of some sort of strategy to tackle the operator that is now in Leah's hands.
Revealing area.
Recombo goes out, as well as a cascade. But Samo here is pushing through one of the hard opportunities, and that's a good stun. But once you cross that wall, both teams now are just playing for information, playing for the first move, the first pawn on the chessboard to sort of drive the game. And still, it's a very static round thus far, but definitely a good adjustment here from SKELP. They need to at least play defensive, get a first blood on the board. But Samo there, instantly flashed away, finds 1, but no. Now it's going to be at least full control here. Mercedes holds on to his life, grabs it. Lear again with the up, finally finding some value after previous rounds. But it's still not over yet. We're seeing SKELP progress forward. As Jamie there takes down nearly every person. Sweeney last alive, finds 1, can get the second. We're now seeing MCRP walk away with map 1 in this series.
You have 1 map in their pocket. MCRP are looking to take this series strong. It looks like SKELP are going to have to come back with some sort of strategy on actually MCRP's pick now, whilst we're heading on to Split. Now, MCRP didn't perform too well yesterday on Split, but today is going to be a different story, I believe.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It could be a real change of pacing, and it could be a real change of events, because the majority of these teams here, we have no real clue in terms of what could happen. Like I said, there are 6 teams here that could oligopolize, that could actually go on and win the whole tournament.
Yeah.
And we just saw 2 of them there. So, you know, it really has to be a case now of just planning out the series and seeing how it goes. It is a 12-hour day today, but not for us right now. We're going to have to a 5-minute break, and we'll see you very soon.
Just waiting here for you. I just want your presence. You got me feeling blue. And don't keep me waiting. Don't leave me in this way. Got me going crazy, and I don't wanna wait. I just wanna make you see. I feel like I'm in heaven when you are here with me. And don't keep me waiting. Don't leave me in this way. Got me going crazy, and I don't wanna wait. I just want your loving. Come and give me something. I just want your loving.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Epic 40. We just watched the first map on this series versus SKELP, Esports and MCRP. Haven went away with MCRP, but now we're going on to SKELP's pick of Split, and to be honest with you, Tom, it's looking to be at least an even playing field now. One map that, you know, MCRP seemed to have a lot of comfort in and did look strong trading 8 rounds together, but now we're going on to enemy territory here in Split with the likes of SKELP having just strong comfort.
Yeah, definitely. Especially the really good performance we just saw from MCRP there. I'm looking, probably going to see that sort of same performance here as well on Split, definitely. It's their pick, they're confident, and they know SKELP are on the back foot now because they're a point down in this best of 3, and it's going to be tough for them.
Yeah, no, and just to sort of clarify again the portion of the day we are heading into the first instances of playoffs here, and the first 2 rounds, the winners round 1 and 2. So, you know, the feel for it is going to be quite monumental in terms of bracket progression and general team cohesion, because again, with a day like this, as long as it is, you mentioned before the break, it's 12 hours long today, with straight playing with little breaks in between, it can be quite daunting. Burnout can be a real factor for a lot of these players here, and as you get further and further on, it shows the excellence and it shows the experience of these teams when they get through and really reach an optimal level of playing.
Yeah, it's a lot of time, especially 12 hours straight, like playing a really competitive level. It's not like you're just sitting at home playing with on ranked queue just where you turn the brain off and
you
play.
can do whatever you want. Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's like set boundaries and set structure.
Now it's set structure. You've got plans. You have to communicate fully the entire time. There's no relaxing as well, and that for that extended period of time, it is quite draining.
I know, and even with tech pauses, with breaks, you know, time management is crucial for these players. So optimization is going to be the key here today for a lot of these teams heading into today's games, today's matches. Now we're in map 2 in this series versus SKELP and MCRP, so we're in Split. And what can you tell me about the map itself and what really is the general consensus of Split?
Split is quite a defensive-sided map, I'd say. So you see teams tending to pick up more points on the defense side. It's a difficult map to, I'd say, quite a difficult map to attack, and you do rely on your initiators a lot, just to clear some space and push the enemies back off those tough angles to take. So usually you tend to see 2 initiators on Split. Definitely, like Sentinels, sort of in the hands of Killjoy or Cypher, just to really lock down those sites and make it really hard for the attackers to get on site. Don't give them any chance to take any space away from them. But we are now in the Agent Select, and we are going to look at both teams' picks.
So thus far, again, SKELP Esports have really just sort of shadowed their idea here, running an Astra and a Breach together, and coupling it with some Killjoy, Sky, and some Rays. And ultimately, again, this composition here, again, it does favour lots of mid pushes. It also favours, again, lots of opportunities to just break through the map, slice and dice, and catch players that do hold down sites from more of an outskirt position, just completely give up free reign and get free plants down on the attacking side. But defensively speaking, MCRP again have gone for more of a Sage, Sky, Rays mixture, which I really think can reward team fights, albeit and add a lot more sort of positions where they can win head-to-heads and get first bloods and man advantages established early on.
I think it's worth mentioning that as the MCRP are starting on that defensive side, they have decided to opt for double Sentinel. They're going to be trying to take as many rounds on this first half as possible. Just play really defensive. They've got the Astra as well for that, just for those gravity wells and those stuns, just to really make it difficult for the attackers, for SKELP to even get onto the site at all. However, SKELP have approached with Breach and Sky, 2 characters that are really useful at taking space. And they're
also good distractions as well for your duelists. They buy a lot more time where you can just invert space and just flip the map around in its head, where you'll go forward as one team and really sort of collectively come together to take a site. Pinches are so easy, flanks are so easy. It does sort of limit opportunity to actually be able to watch fully over your team, provide good cover, and actually have most of the time expose the back line. But thus far, we're now getting into the map itself. Map number 2, SKELP Esports versus MCRP. Some good old-fashioned Valorant for you all today.
Yeah, most certainly. And it looks like SKELP are initially heading over towards A. That spike is going towards that A site. MCRP, however, stacked up into B heaven. However, they've had a change of heart and are now rotating back towards A. Looks like we're going to have 3 players situated on A for the start of this round. Maybe predicting that's what SKELP are going to do. SKELP looking like they've got 3 ghosts at their disposal. Sharpie hasn't actually bought a single thing, which means they might be saving for something on the second round.
I think it will be a very unique sort of dichotomy here. But thus far again, it will be the site of which that SKELP Esports would like to claim their stake to. MCRP though just holding strong here as well. Reptile goes forward here in chamber. Flash him straight away though, and looking at just to go out, gets away in time, and Jamie there gets the first blood on the board. And now as trades start to sort of come to a head, we've now got fully an aggressive hit coming out here, and almost a full-on retreat here for MCRP. But as trades continues to aggress, 5v5, doing it down to 3v3. Reptile though still has found all players in his crosshairs, and looking to get some more, but with no support just yet. Players now just spinning around. Samo there trading again, but no bullets left for Reptile. Gogs just squeezes in 4 kills that round. Simple lurking, wonderful team shooting. Gets around on the board there. SKELP Esports leading the way.
Brilliantly just positioning himself, able to get like pick after pick there. Yeah, fantastic work from Gogs. And just unfortunate for Reptile, just losing that, running out of ammo and just finding himself in that unfortunate situation where Gogs is able to drop him. It's allowed Gogs the money to be able to buy a Vandal on that second round, which is going to be quite the advantage going into this one. MCRP have opted for a few Sheriffs in their hands, just maybe see if they can turn this round in their favour.
Straight away, lots completely thrown towards mid as well when Zella's found one with that dog. And now Stromie gets a shot down from mid too. SKELP over win most of the gunfights. Flash does nothing to bolster anyone. SKELP though is still fighting through, and it's completely 4 dead. Reptile last alive, tagged up inside of Connector, finds 1, but Sharpie cleans it up anyway. An almost flawless round. SKELP now extends to 2, which ends in the bonus round.
Yeah, Reptile saying no to potential flawless there, just getting 1 nice little headshot with Headhunter. Yeah, as you can see, SKELP were just taking quite an aggressive approach there. Even though they were flashed off mid, they didn't stop their push at all. They kept pushing up. But now we're looking at the eco from these teams, and it looks like MCRP have opted for Vandals with light armor just as their third round buy in response. And SKELP do still have 2 rifles in their hands. They've got a Guardian and they've got a Vandal. And it looks like they are about to be pressuring mid with the Trailblazer from the sky, spotting Reptile.
Same break off again for SKELP. Throw the Prowler out for a stun out 2 to boot. Well, I think the MCRP have adjusted well to this one. They even got a first blood in return, which, again, after a round like that, a strong response is needed. Reptile now completely left useless here with a 1 full Astral Cloud, and now SKELP start to aggress through to heaven and even take positioning in back spawn to catch lurkers. It's still going to be a very impressive hold here. Mercedes just about edges away, only on 5 HP. A small sliver just to keep the bolstered lines of MCRP alive. But in the 3v3 itself, Spike is down. SKELP has got full control.
And it looks like 2 of the players situated on backside of SKELP. And it did think Gogs probably thought the Reptile had abandoned the middle push and had actually gone back through spawn. But that is not what the case, as Reptile did find the pick on them. SKELP, however, not out of it just yet.
Gusher missed, and Jamie still finds the kill anyway. And Zella gets 1 with Reptile. He gets a second 2. Stun has no effect. And Sealer looked to try and get it done, but Jamie cleans it up indefinitely. The crouch spray was not to be found. All the bullets were whiffed. And now we head into what looks to be a converted bonus round. And MCRP win one of the most crucial of this entire map.
And we're only 3 rounds in, and it does look like MCRP have a Cosmic Divide at the ready, as well as Reptile 1 point away from full force. It's looking like SKELP are going to need to find maybe some sort of response to this, as MCRP are going to be able to potentially take a site or potentially take a retake situation with that Cosmic Divide and use the Tour de Force to prevent any entry onto site. No one needs to peek into that without any sort of assistance. And SKELP, yeah, looking like they're actually going to go for another A hit, initiating with that Trailblazer. The stars do align, and it looks like smokes are going to be on heaven, preventing any view from Mercedes.
Now Saran kicks off here fully. Almost perfect team here coming in from the likes of SKELP Esports. They've progressed well and even managed to get a plant down. Swinging those shoots a dog, but has no idea of who's lurking in the cloud. A secondary stun to boot, and in return for that, an aftershock. Samo finds one, Sweeney trades it out, and now we're seeing the likes of MCRP run through, get the trades coordinated, and only Gogs can be left alive here. A 1v3 not to be, as just about as of his health, Lear gets away. Smallest of margins were to at least correct that error. Thankfully, they get through and get it done.
There was a world where Gogs did win that fight.
Yeah.
That was just maybe just getting the transfer off, but Leo was just a bit too quick, finding that headshot and sealing the deal. Scoring another round on the board for MCRP. And it looks like they still do have their Cosmic Divide at hand and their Tour de Force. However, we are seeing from the hands of SKELP that they do have a Seekers at the ready. Potentially looking maybe for another aggressive push, this time perhaps in mid. However, there are 3 of MCRP's players situated there, looking like they're ready to set up a cross if they do try for an aggressive push.
As we kick things off here in round number 5, Samo straight away eliminates any pressure in mid, although it is to be the location of which SKELP Esports continue their attack. It's much better from MCRP just to at least stagger the push, halt it for a few seconds, really understand where the hit's going to come from and when it comes, so they have time to rotate and overload. Because right now it's still quite a spread formation from them. Everyone's covering a lane, and so too at MCRP. But Gogster gets the first blood. A wonderful crossfire there rewards entry into Garage, and still to be, the rotation is only now just coming in from MCRP. Throwing up clouds as well. We could see a fake here potentially, Tom.
Yeah, it's looking like a little bit of a slow rotation, but I think the MCRP are aware of where SKELP are, using that guiding light just to see if they can find anything, but doesn't actually trigger. Samo now aware that the grenade is coming in and needing to back off. Looks like the rotation is coming back through as they are rotating back towards that B site just to make sure that they can get this hold onto Heaven and stop a push from that direction. And I think SKELP are aware of that and are now pushing through into vents, approaching A Heaven.
30 seconds
with Gogs left alone to defend. Jamie, sorry.
They've managed to aggress that perfectly there. It's wonderful for SKELP Esports to get on and actually begin the process of planting the spike down, but look at the formation here coming in from MCRP. The entire north side of the map is going to be theirs. They're still hanging around Spawn, toying with the idea of getting crossfires done all the way through Heaven. But the coverage here in the formation to watch the crossfires is just maybe too good for SKELP. We're looking at the break here. Sharpie's got lines on everyone. Mercedes just about breaks through, and now his elbow control is just crucial to retake the site as Mercedes continues to pile on the pressure. Mighty Joe is the last one alive. Uses last stun, but finds 2 in response! Oh, that's perfect! Using the Seeker to his advantage, the crosshairs weren't aligned, and there we have it. At least one guiding light. SKELP there in the dire straits. Get it converted there. Wonderful 2 from Mighty Joe.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Double from Mighty Joe there. Just having both players, Jamie and Mercedes, unfortunately just line up perfectly for that spray. The use of Seekers spotting Mighty Joe, but it doesn't mean anything when he can find both of them just at the same time. Reptile, however, has picked himself up an operator in response for this round. Looks like he's going to be looking down mid where 2 of SKELP's players are situated. This could be blood. Doesn't quite find the pick and uses the rendezvous to get himself out of there safely. However, SKELP have decided to push up quite aggressively and are now taking the top of mid.
Reptile though draws first blood finally, and so does Lear, adding to the tally. But look at this right here. A showstopper to boot, fires it to Garage, takes care of Lear. Still 4v3, still full control now for MCRP ULTRAS as JB just about edges out another kill. It's Calamity in the back spawn. There's nothing SKELP can do. Everyone in the isolated duels has only lost. The last one alive only can get through. Samado might find Zila. Has been playing very static, yet very crucial to this. Will spot it, will convert it. Samo, 3 even. This is a much more contested half, and definitely SKELP's sort of style here. But MCRP find their way out of these tough situations.
Yeah, MCRP were aware of what SKELP were doing there with that aggressive push through onto B Heaven, and they situated themselves into Garage. And even though they found that first pick onto Leah with the showstopper, Samo was able to keep control of that Garage, and then when Zella tried to push through, I think they were aware that there was a Sage in there that Samo was situated, but they did try to take the fight. It was good map control from MCRP all around.
Again, similar sort of style here from both sides. Contesting the mid early and playing for picks, but Samo there is rewarded with the first of the round. 3 ultimates though to add to their roster inside of the manufacturers they've just gained. gives even more sort of foreshadowing to this round. It gives a good look. As now we're seeing SKELP Esports just slowly regress over towards A. MCRP getting rotation of their own as well. But albeit, nothing really can be utilised just yet. Jamie still has full utility. He's playing for the head-to-head gunfights. Gets 2, gets nearly another, but still playing well. 24 HP. Now we're starting to see systems from Sky here. The dog tags nobody. And now Skog, you know, you just play through one good look in the cloud. There's not much that can be done. As Mercedes gets one to add to the tally, it could merely be wraps. Joe can't get it, and now we're seeing the first lead for MCRP in this map. But again, it ultimately came from Jamie. It ultimately came from the initiation, the heads-up plays, and simply crisp aims to clear the likes of a potentially dangerous push coming in from VALORANT.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie just held the angle and found those first couple kills just purely off of aim. Just great crosshair placement, finding those kills easily, not even having to, you know, waste any util even to
and no ults as well. The ults are still saved.
Ults are saved, and they've got the round advantage now. 3 ults coming in, Resurrection, Showstopper, and the Cosmic Divide. And it looks like Mercedes is now just watching mid. As SKELP are pushing up, they are aware, they've backed off. Leah and Mercedes are just going to be able to take this cross if they are pushing up.
Sharpie clearing all corners, but Mercedes again just holding the one angle to watch rope. As soon as drop is done, Mercedes gets peeking straight away. And now Sharpie can only really play off the counter util here. And that's a wonderful team push there. A great re-wrap from Mercedes to find a kill onto Sharpie. As now we head into the last 65 of this round. Still, though, players start around from both sides, but only really can Mercedes be the main crux here to keep SKELP at bay. There's so much importance relying on this, but as Jamie and Reptile finally coordinate 2 more, Samo has the swing, and Spike down as well. It's stuck inside of Garage, and only can Gogs find the pressure. Has everything to work with here, but only 1 star to utilize at a time. There's nothing really that can be done on a macro sense to get Gogs around other than spray and pray. He gets 2, which can be good for sort of damaging minor economy boosts that MCRP can build, but it's not helping anything in the larger scale. A 5-3 lead, we are still seeing the likes of MCRP take control and SKELP.
Just like you mentioned, Konya, they've done some damage to their economy, but ultimately it's not a lot. If you take a look at how much money they've got stored in the bank right now, they've got enough for an operator in Reptile's hands still. They've got enough for plenty more operators if they do actually lose this round. So it's going to be difficult for SKELP to be able to take this away from them, especially with the weapons that they are currently equipped with. Only Sheriffs, a Stinger, and maybe 1 single Spectre. They maybe might try and utilize some of their ultimates to try and take this round. So we're heading to the first engagement. Mighty Joe does find the pick with the Sheriff. Sharpie blast packing his way into elbow, just taking that space nicely. Reptile making sure that no one is pushing through into screens though, as they start getting that plant down.
Gogs converts it, 5v4. SKELP Esports has got the advantage, but Rolling Thunder comes in now, and it takes out the entire north side of the map. The retreat is very, very wise from MCRP, but the timing might just be there. As it's a 1-for-1 trade, the Roomba damages Reptile, and actually forces even further pushback on the side of MCRP. The stun's coming in as well. All Joe has to do is find a kill of the Sheriff. Has a Phantom now to boot, with 3 in this round, and now Mercedes can only hope and pray that all 4 doors are isolated, and the kills can be found, but no. It's a round that was solely dictated by Mighty Joe's brilliance.
Yes, indeed. Using those flashpoints as well to take so much space and just push them off the angles. Yeah, fantastic work from Mighty Joe there. Just really taking that side, using those eco weapons to their advantage, making sure that they're taking close range engagements and making sure that they're using their flashes to give themselves the advantage against those better weapons such as the Vandal.
Yeah, and now we're just sort of looking into the next few seconds here. The buys are very strong. I mean, MCRP are pulling out operators this round to just sort of extend it. We are nearing the end of the half, but it doesn't really falter anyone. As now we're seeing the aggression truly come in. SKELP here are starting to give MCRP a taste of their own medicine, as Zela finds the first, and even so, Mercedes just about edging the way forward, and SKELP are just about keeping control. Reptile, though, finds a way through the back. Slow wall pulled in, and then Reptile gets a second. The remaining 3 players are on site, and that is where the weapon switch will come in handy. The Vandal, the Lone Ranger, Lear cleans it up aside Samo, and blink you miss it. 3 kills in 1 second, and that right there is extension. That right there is MCRP Ultras getting 6 on the board.
That was MCRP taking a much different approach to a retake, not allowing SKELP any breathing room. As soon as they got that spike down, they initiated that retake instantly. All 5 players rushing down ramp and just pushing in at once, using their util to take the site so fast. Reptile initiating with an actual with the operator, which is not what you usually see, but it did pay off and it did pay dividends, allowing them to take that site so well after finding 2 picks with that operator. Fantastic work from MCRP there. Such a fast retake. I
know, and the economy as well is actually quite difficult with SKELP because as well as holding on to the operator and keeping that alive, which is so crucial for a lot of MCRP's game plan, SKELP are now just going to have to run with what they got here. A force buy is not what you want heading into the last 2 rounds of this half. Could easily be an extension to MCRP's lead, but the flash is there and Leah gets it done. And to Joe policy as well, a Sage Wall comes up in time. Only will you throw the paint shells and try and flush them out back into mid again. Sweeney loses a crucial 1v1 with Mercedes, a 3v3, but still the Cosmic Divide is online for MCRP.
It's looking like a potential retake situation for MCRP, and I think Jamie is aware of that, as they have repositioned themselves onto B. They're not letting it go. They're going to make sure that they know where this spike is going before they rotate. They've got their star down ready, they've got smokes at their disposal, and they've got the Cosmic Divide ready to prevent a plant or a potential retake for MCRP. SKELP looking like they're approaching the site now. Guiding Light comes out, blinds Jamie.
But still finds the kill. Clever play from the team there. Although it was impossible for Jamie to get all 3 players at a time, the cloud conversion towards the stun was the perfect opportunity just to cancel out any chance of a swing on the camera to avoid it. As now we're in the last round, it's just been crisp. It's been sheer beautiful search and destroy. It has been the level now where, you know, they're actually coordinating man advantage. The crossfires are in the right spots. And it's just so fast. Doing this at such a fast pace that literally I don't think SKELP are managing to actually get any real footing or reprocess what's happening at different times.
Yeah, certainly. And I think MCRP are probably happy with this outcome, having the advantage in the half, even if it ends up being 7-5. But I do think maybe they might have been actually looking for a few more rounds here. Reptile, unfortunately, overextending just a little bit and not teleporting out there. Peeking through the smoke, quite a dangerous play. Does find him unfortunately dead, but now we're looking at MCRP backing off the site. The lockdown, it was maybe a fake, as the rest of SKELP are actually approaching that A bomb site, which has now been left completely alone.
Yeah, and look at this right now. When it's a free site and a clean take, there's not much that there's not much that MCRP can do to maintain a good, strong lead here. They haven't got any real positioning to try and isolate doors, as Sweden there catches Mercedes with a clean wallbang. Samedo finds the first, looks for Elbow straight away, but look at my Joe, judge in hand, can just about squeeze one, but Lear trades it off. In a 2v3, you really want one thing to happen. You really want at least a showstopper to come online. Can't find anyone though because of the grab. And Leardo, last alive, 1v2, catches one, plays it well. Spark goes down to a little. It could be one of the hardest rounds to do. The molly was perfectly placed. Sweeney will more than likely convert it into a 5th round for SKELP Esports, making it 7-5 at a half, but only really well. One last ditch, one last attempt at a defuse. That's where Sweeney converts it.
Yeah, that was really well played from SKELP there. Just not allowing MCRP to utilize those ults. Just repositioning off-site was actually quite smart from Sweeney there. Maybe just placing those swarms down, stalling out that defuse, rotating back through to Heaven to get the better angle onto Leah. Really well played from SKELP, securing themselves a 5th round on the board. They're in a good position for the second half. They've made it work. They definitely have made a good effort here. But still, I think when it comes to the class here, MCRP have led now in both maps. Even on the pick of SKELP, they're both leading at half-time. Still, I think the buys are quite interesting too this round. Yeah, certainly. If we're looking at these buys, we've got 3 ghosts in the hands of SKELP on the defense, and 2 lots of armor, probably buying U2 alongside. Sweeney has instantly been flashed up with the guiding light, and Leah does find the kill, looking like an aggressive burst. Sky's Trailblazer checking for the B. They do find Gogs, and Samo drops him. They now have the B site in the hands of SKELP. No, MCRP, sorry. They're going to get the spike down. And
Spike like planted.
5v3 as well. Very difficult retake.
5v3 retake, yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult for SKELP right now to actually maintain a good retake here. They got the right lane. They got the right idea as well. Overload the high ground and try to isolate the one player watching the flank. Try even the numbers, but look at this. Incredible platform crossfire that eliminates all 3 players. Their push was cancelled almost instantly before it began.
Yeah, that was brilliant work from MCRP. They just knew exactly what was going to happen. They used the aggressiveness to their advantage, and I don't think maybe that's something that SKELP were expecting based on their composition, especially with the double sentinel. Maybe they were thinking maybe they were going to play a bit more passively, maybe watch for flanks, but no, using that aggressive burst from the Raze and the guiding light really solidified that round for them, able to take B Heaven so fast. It meant that SKELP didn't have many options to work with. They had to come through CT or they had to try and retake that Heaven position.
Slow ramp push as well. MCRP are just looking to expand their options here through the lanes. They've mainly compiled through one choke point and played trades, but now it's nice to actually start to get an aggressive footing earlier on and just play passive. Play for a swing, and that's where Reptile again gets the first blood drawn.
Yeah, over to Reptile now as he is finding the first blood. He's going to keep holding, find Gogs, potentially find another on Sweeney, and he gets it. One more in Vents. Sharpie potentially looking to get the kill, but no, Samo does end that goal as Mighty Joe left alone on A. Site completely abandoned as MCRP have fully rotated over towards a B plant now. Doesn't even look like they're going to go for the plant, as they're going to just go hunting for the kill, or Leah is going to grab the orb. One more point towards his showstopper. Mighty Joe clearing out angles, but does get dropped by Jamie. Another round secured for MCRP, edging ever so closer, securing this series.
Oh, I know, and 9-5 to be fair, and we've only now just entered the bonus round. So again, the second crucial round of this map is underway. Yeah. And looking at the buys here again, it's a force for SKELP.
Yes, and it does look like, I'd say MCRP have probably a good chance. They're going to keep playing with this aggressive burst, taking the close fights on Split here. Using those weapons can actually be quite an advantage in those situations, especially if Jamie actually does have a Vandal in his hands. And they've definitely gone for the aggressive approach still. They've already taken Mail. However, Sharpie has decided to use the paint shells to try and do some damage to Lear. Does a little bit, but probably not as much as he was hoping for. Gogs immediately being pushed, slow orbed off, and then stunned. Samo doesn't actually get the swing, but now he does, and finds the kill on Gogs, walling off that CT, maybe for a... Reptile does find the kill, and Sweeney on the other side of the smoke, just waiting, pushing in. Reptile unfortunately pulled out their U-tail just a little second too late there, and Sweeney is going to head back round to CT, going to get healed up by Zella. It is a 2v2 retake. It could go either way.
Yeah, no, so right now with the post-plant situation at hand here, full side control will still favour MCRP. Sweeney puts the shots down just to at least distract, and I think that was the last flash utilised as well. So now they've really got to try and force the gunfights early. Jamie, with prime positioning, takes care of one. The 1v2 is on the cards. Zila hasn't got much time though. A flash to boot, can throw, but just about tags someone behind the pillar. Jamie swings, and even without the crossfire help, finds the kill. 10-5. Now we're really in dangerous territory here for SKELP Esports.
Yeah, Jamie and Samo setting up that 1v2 really nicely there. Just making sure that as soon as they knew where Zella was coming from for that flash from CT, they made sure they aligned it nicely so that both of them were watching that same angle. And they managed to secure the round. Only 3 rounds remaining on the board for them. And they're looking dangerous as Reptile has got an operator in his hands on this 4th round. Really not ideal for SKELP, as they did lose their buy. MCRP able to convert that in their favor, which has done really bad economic damage. They're going to be going into this with a massive disadvantage.
Yeah, and now we're looking into at least a 5-round deficit here. But still, 90 seconds on the clock and plenty of users to work with. That's the one shining light. Jada just playing around the cloud. Reptile there finds the first blood. That's crucial again. A common theme here for MCRP. First blood with the operators. Split seems to be their playground. Might have been a bad move by SKELP Esports.
Yeah, so just sending the trailblazer to the backside. They know that no one's CT. However, Jamie does get found by Gogs. The flank is now a dangerous place for MCRP that they do need to watch, as there are 2 people approaching.
Knifing through the wall, but still look at MCRP right there as well, pushing Gary straight away. A single trade to boot. Reptile now has got nothing really to work with, all the shots missed, and then the end of the conversion. They still have man advantage by a slight. The pin shot kill feed results down to 2v1. Samo, close to live, has revive as well, but optionally looking to save it for later rounds, as Lear can just play the bait, best peek he can find, and still support was there if need be. 11-5, we're now heading into at least nearly match point, 2 to go.
SKELP do now have the money to get themselves a buy on the board. However, the whole team have opted for light armor, just not being able to afford that full armor if they want to be able to have any sort of meaningful weapons in that final round. This is a big gambit here, as it's 11-5. If they invest all of their money right now and they lose this round, they're going to be in a really dire situation for the potential match point.
No, that's a good way to look at it, because ultimately again now we're factoring in pressure because the likes of SKELP Esports haven't really got anything going thus far today. Still, they have an opportunity to come back and overperform. Reptile again, just playing well from smokes, and wonderful spray from Gogs. Okay, first one on the board now for SKELP Esports. They continue to shuffle around the board here. Lots of players just staggered through mid and even controlling spawn, looking for at least fast overloads through the lanes. But when it comes to the exits, Samo no finally utilises it. All players back online again, and potentially now a new plan coming in here. 6 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, not wanting to lose out on the extra player of Reptile. They make sure to utilize that resurrection. Probably not approach B so fast as they just did, getting sprayed through smoke. But they are actually going to be pushing through mid as Leah gets the next pick of the round. SKELP manages to get the trade.
Gogs finds one. Samo now has dropped to the floor. Still only a 3v4 situation here. Reptile gets one again. Headhunted. Dodge the flash, second swing, shots going down though, low HP, still though SKELP have got plenty of options to work with here. Mercedes finds one, only now will we see it.
Last player standing.
So 1v1 between Sweeney and Mercedes. Slowly creeping around the pillar, that walk only lasts for so long, flash comes in, and now this is the time we have to get the plant down. Sweeney runs forward.
10 seconds left.
Confidence there to get converted. I think he might have the angle here. One little pixel will find it, and he can convert it. A lifeline being tossed to SKELP Esports. A huge 1v1 there for Sweeney, and it was just well coordinated.
And the risk was rewarded. Investing that money to win this round was definitely the correct play from Sweeney. Being rewarded for their play, investing their money. Now they're going to be able to buy again this round. Just to keep staying in the competition. They're 11-6. They're going to need to win this round to really keep it away, keep match point away from MCRP. It's the last thing they want in this situation.
Still though, there's no giving up here through MCRP. A similar loadout as well. Operator back online again, but that was last real hope at getting this through, and it has been so useful for at least 4 or 5 rounds. First buzz being drawn left, right, and centre. As the breakoffs do take place, Lear gets the first blood on the board, and that's really crucial now for the remainder. Still though, tagged up and has a showstopper as well in play. Activates it now, only a short bit of time left. And just about fires into the wall, but no real decision made on where to look and what to fire. Mighty just trades it out. 3v3, Cosmic Divide comes in now, all across B. Sectioning off from Heaven, getting a safe plant down with no audio cues given away. And they're looking as well just to hold this through back connector and through garage. Rolling Thunder can be dodged nearly by both players, but still full health and full rush available. Samo spots one, can't convert as Gogs finds the headshot. Reptile now finds one, swings it straight away. And with the operator, can still look to hold it down, but Sweeney, oh my goodness me, gets it offline. And that's a wonderful grab. Jamie's still online. A second Cosmic Divide comes through. And look at this right here. Close from Jamie, but it's beautiful. That right there is the mirror effect. It's just shades of glorious, glorious Valorant.
That was absolutely well played from Jamie there, just outclassing Gogs in that Astra duel there. Using the Cosmic Divide from Gogs. I think he really thought he had that situation under control, but Jamie just managed to juke them through the smoke, through that wall, and position themselves perfectly to align up just a multi-kill. Just brilliant work from Jamie there.
And it takes us into match point.
Yeah, and now arriving at match point, SKELP's Eco on the back foot. They don't have a lot of money. We are match point. They are on Eco buy. We've got a Killjoy set up towards Avo, 2 swarm grenades out on the main push. And we're looking at Samo just slowly crawling their way towards the A site, cautious of what could be here. The Astra Star does land. They are aware that their presence is there. And Zella just peeking, trying to find a kill.
Shots go down, but nothing really on A just yet. Just lots of passive aggression, lots of shifting towards the goal. Even in mid, though, a huge fight takes place, but Reptile finds the first blood of the round. A common theme which MCRP love to have: a first blood on the board and one to take home for dinner. Seekers to boot as well. They go through, and the flash is dodged only briefly. As now Sweeney looks to find some footing here. Does get taken down by Cho, and as the trades come in, is a 2-2. But still, from the initial one, Reptile got advantage. It's going the way of MCRP, and the push can be cemented here. Reptile finds Mighty Joe, and it's all down to Gogs. Into the hands of Reptile. It's a swift, clean kill. It's 2-0. And now we're going to be seeing MCRP advance to the next round.
Absolutely. Well played from SKELP Esports there, but it just wasn't quite enough to reach the finals. But yeah, it's unfortunate that they were able to...
Yeah, no, I understand it. But either way, there's sort of lifeline here that we're going to be seeing the likes of SKELP Esports going to the lower bracket and have a run down there. But ultimately, it could be tit for tat. It's got lots of decisions to be made. Overall, though, that will be this... the entirety of that wonderful game. And now we have to a 10-minute break, so we'll be back very soon with some VALORANT action for you.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Solo.
One enemy.
One less.
One enemy remaining. Standing.
Bullseye.
One enemy remaining. Remaining. Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Standing. Left. One enemy remaining.
Deleted.
Stealing sight.
One enemy remaining. Spike down, C.
Your fault. Enemy killed.
What would you have become?
Stay down.
player standing.
Solo.
Dusting them.
One enemy.
One less.
One enemy remaining.
Die. What divide it?
One enemy remaining. Blood.
They were. Killer.
Last player standing.
I
One enemy remaining. Last player standing. Thrifty.
Here. Next.
One enemy remaining. Spike.
very removed. Wrong buddy.
One enemy remaining.
Wait for me.
Last player standing. Flawless. Last player standing. Flawless. Last player. One. One enemy.
You lose.
Last player. One enemy remaining.